Hi everyone, it's svgcoop.com with another training video for you. This time we're going to be playing with some text using Cricut Design Space, Illustrator, and Inkscape. I want to show you how to add text, and I also want to show you how to change the fonts and the sizes, but I also want to show you a couple of glitches that are in a couple of the software packages so that if you run into this problem, you don't think it's you. Okay, so I'm in Cricut Design Space, and I just hit Start a New Project. I'm going to click on the Add Text button, and I'm just going to write Happy Thursday. And you can see it's selected the last font that I had. I'm just going to move this up a little bit. And if I go to my Edit palette, you're going to see the first button here is, there's a little drop down, and it has all fonts, system fonts, which are the ones that are on your computer, Cricut fonts, which are either the fonts that you have in a cartridge or as part of your monthly membership, or I believe you can actually purchase fonts that you don't have. Single layer and has a writing style. I like to keep mine on all fonts because I like everything to be available. The next drop down will give you show you a preview of all of the fonts that you have a choice of. Mine takes a second because I have a lot of fonts. The ones that have this A are the ones that are part of your membership. You can see this one, I don't own this, so I can buy it for $4.99. The other fonts are just fonts that I have on my computer. So I'm going to click on this one. And you can see it changed my font. I can now change my font size, let's say to 200. And I can center it. Here I can center it, left justify, right justify. So if I center it, the letter spacing, if I increase it, you see the letters separate. If I decrease that number, the letters get closer together. Line spacing, if I increase that number, the words get farther apart. If I decrease it, I can get the words to be closer together. If I want to change the size, let's say you're doing a t-shirt or something and you want it to be exactly 8 inches wide, you can type the 8 here, and you'll see it changed my font size slightly to 209.2 something. I can't see the whole number. So you can do it that way. You can also, if you don't lock this, you can, let's say you want it to be 8 by 5 inches, it'll stretch the letters out to fit that 8 by 5 inches size. You can click on this rotate button. If you click to the up, you'll go to the right. If you go down to negative, you'll see it goes to the left. Just going to make it back to 0. And you have your mirror options where you can mirror it vertically and horizontally. And then you also have your position. So let's say you're working on a 12 by 12 piece of paper and you want to make sure that it lines, when you cut it, that it lines up exactly. So you can change these numbers and you'll see it will go right exactly where you want it to line up on your paper. Okay, pretty much that's it for just basically adding font, but I do want to show you something. So you can hit this Isolate Letters button. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go back to the Layers palette, and I just want to show you, if you click on the H here, I can change the color of the font to whatever I want. Now, this is where we get a little funky. I'm going to go back to the Edit palette, and I'm going to hit Isolate Letters. Now, with the Isolate Letters, you'll see I can now select each letter individually. I can increase the size, I can rotate it, I can move it however I want to, which is a great option. What I want to show you though is if I try to change, if I go back to the Layers palette and I click on one of these letters and I go to change the color, you'll see that when I do that, it only changes the color of the H. It doesn't matter what letter I select, it only changes the color of the H. So that's kind of a glitch. I wanted to show you that because it could frustrate you and I don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to undo all of that, get back to our green happy place. Now the other thing I wanted to show you is if you do separate the letters, if I hit go, the letters are just going to haphazardly show up on my mat. And you may or may not care about that or want that. So I'm going to hit the X. What you need to do to fix that, there's a couple of things. If you have everything selected, okay, you know it's selected because you have the bounding box. I can go to attach, and then when I hit go, the letters are going to stay where they're supposed to. And of course, they're each separate letters at this point, but the A is going to cut into your H. All right, I'm going to hit cancel. If you want this to be a single piece, select it all again. And this time hit weld instead of attach. And now you can see the H and the A are a single piece. So you're not going to have the A cut into the H at this point. Again, if I hit go, it's going to keep it the way it's on your design. So I'm going to hit undo. And those are pretty much the options with adding text in Cricut and how you can play with the sizes and the colors. And of course there's way more that you can do, but this is going to just really a video on adding the text and a couple of options for it. Alright, we're going to jump to Inkscape. And again, Inkscape actually has a couple of quirks with it too, and it can get frustrating, but it can be very easy and it can be very frustrating. So I just want to show you the easy piece and then show you where I found a little bit of frustration, because if I see it and it happens to you, I just want you to know that it is a thing that happens. So I opened up a new project, and I'm just going to click on this big A here. That's my text tool. And I'm going to click and drag. And I'm going to, again, write Happy Thursday. And I can highlight this. I'm going to hold the Shift key and just highlight the letters. And if I go to Text, Text and Font, I'm going to have the options of the fonts that are on my computer. You will have that as well. So I can pick a different font, and let's say I do Circle of Love here. You'll see I get a preview in this window. And I can change my font size to the 200, so let's make it 150. And I can center it, and then I can hit Apply. And you can see I have now my font, and it looks pretty. I can also, with these buttons up on the top here, if I decrease this number, you'll see that the words get closer together. If I increase the number, they get farther apart. And, you know, it makes it so you have some flexibility. I can also increase this number, and this is it's supposed to increase the spacing between your letters. So if I increase this, you can see the letters are separating. Of course, I lost part of my words. I'm just going to go back down to have it fit. Now, again, I can have this selected. If I highlight the letters, I can change the colors down here to any color I want, and it's very easy to do that. The thing where I found kind of something that happened that was glitchy is I'm going to select the font again. And I had selected this Oz font, and I just want to show you this because this could happen to you as well. I have this Oz's Wizard font, and I'm going to hit Apply. And you can see, first part of my letters disappeared, but you can see part of my Y disappeared as well. And if I shrink this down, the Y starts to come back. But I can't get it to stay. So I'm just going to click on this again. I'm going to make the font size, I'm going to bring it down to a 40. Apply. You can see now I have everything here. And if I go to make it bigger, again, part of my Y disappears. So if I make it smaller, and I decide I just want to zoom in, eventually I get it to where I can see part of the Y. So it's kind of a weird thing. I'm not sure why it does it, but I just wanted you to be aware of it. It may not happen with every font. You know, it's just kind of a weird thing. If I turn this into an SVG at this point, I can resize it using my Cricut Design Space or your Silhouette. You can resize it and all of that. But I just wanted to show you how that views. it's just, like I said, a weird thing, and I just wanted to show it to you. But again, you can highlight the text, shift and highlight this, and you can change the font to, you know, different things that you may want. Let's say I go to Orbit Extended, and again, it will show the font nicely. And if I do this now, this font stays, and I can see all the letters. So it may be, you know, just relative to the particular font that I chose. So if you have that problem, just know that maybe it's the font. There is a way around it, and you do have options. All right, I'm just going to jump now to Illustrator. And I have a new project open. I'm going to grab my text tool. I'm just going to click and drag again to write Happy Thursday. I'm just going to decrease my font here. Make it about 100. And okay, so I just want to show you, so of course the Y's show here in this font, and I can change the size, and the Y's don't disappear. I do have the same options that I had in the other software packages. So I can, if you go up to the top, you'll see it says character. If I click on the character button, I get all of the options where I can bring the words closer together. If I want to, I can separate the letters. I can bring them back together. You just play with these numbers. I also, if I click on the paragraph button, I can center it, I can left justify, I can right justify, I can justify it all completely. Just going to go back to center. And I also, you have this option here where I can click on here, and let's say I know I have a font. One of my favorites is Skater Girl, so I can start to type it and select that. I can increase the size of my font, I can decrease the size of my font, and again I can highlight it with my text tool, and I can change the color. If I click on here, I have options for colors. And again, you have the same flexibility, but it's really easy to add text here. And again, in this case, you would just save this as an SVG, and you would be ready to go. All right. Hopefully that will help give you a little bit of a hint on how to get text into your options. I also just want to make sure that, again, you guys get to see how it works, but also where you can see some glitches, because you may get frustrated with that. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out either by emailing me at robin@svgcoop.com. It's ROBIN at svgcoop.com. Or you can get us, through questions in our Facebook group. Like I said, hopefully this helps. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with more videos.